and we'll go to Jonathan Tannenwald first. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Thanks, Aaron, and thanks, Lindsey, for the time. What's the mood like among this group of players that knowing that this is sort of the first game in a new era in a lot of ways?
Well, for me, it's really exciting to see. I think obviously all these new younger players coming in and some not so much younger are just really excited and obviously grateful for this opportunity. And I think it is the start to kind of a new cycle, new era. And I think, here being in Australia playing against an incredible opponent is, again, just exciting. So I think a good positive vibe right now.
And how is it to be there and take it all in? We saw y'all went to the zoo and hung out with the koalas and et cetera, but how's it just to be there and be among this group in that setting?
Yeah, again, we haven't really been here too long because it's a long travel. But it's awesome. I think, for some of us older, I guess, more veteran players, it's kind of cool to see the dynamic and having our first training session yesterday and hopefully a good one today. I think, it is just kind of a cool feeling that, we're going into the next step, the next level of this national team, and hopefully holding that standard and pushing ourselves to the next level because, again, everyone's getting better and better.
Thanks, Jonathan. Let's go to Grant Little from Stumptown Footy. Go ahead, Grant.
Hey, Lindsey, thanks for taking the time. You're one of the most veteran players on this roster. Can you talk about how you might be taking a leadership role this time around, especially with some of the new to the national team thorns on this squad? And also, can you talk about your excitement about, wearing the number 10 in a game for the first time?
Oh, gosh, that's going to be emotional. Yeah, I think, like I said before, it is a really cool feeling, I think, for some of us older players. It's just a different dynamic for us. And, I've never felt like a veteran on this team or an older player on this team. And now, actually making it realistic here in camp is a cool feeling. So I just hope that I can continue to make these younger, newer players better and also make them feel welcome and help in any way I possibly can. So I think that's kind of the role that I want to take and be open and set an example and hopefully be, a role model for them. To wear the number 10 for the first time, yeah, I kind of like it. Again, that whole process last camp was a dream to me. So having it actually become reality in this first game is going to be amazing, but might be a little emotional for me.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, and it's a good note that no one has worn the number 10 for the United States, aside from Carly Lloyd, since November 8th, 2008, in Tampa, Florida against South Korea, and that was Allie Wagner. So Lindsey will be the next. Before we go on to our next questions, if you have questions for Lindsey, please raise your virtual hand. We are told that the Australians have sold more than 35,000 tickets for this game. So it's going to be the largest crowd ever to watch the Matildas in Australia. So congrats to Football Australia and the Matildas, and it should be rocking, even though the stadium is like twice that big. But the crowd should be great. Let's go to Caitlin Murray. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Hi, Lindsey. Following up on Aaron's point, the U.S. hasn't played in front of away fans in more than 2 years at this point. As a player, how does it change your approach to the game? Or, how does it change the feeling of being in a game where you're not going to have American fans backing you, which is going to be the first time in a while for that?
Well, for me personally, I love it. I think it's obviously just, it's different. Like, you're going into the game and it's more difficult to ever play in an away stadium. I think the last time I remember doing it was obviously in France, before the World Cup, and it's difficult. They have a 12th man, and I think it's like this cool feeling when you're able to score in them or do something well and kind of shut up their fans. So For here, I think one, it's just incredible for Australia to get that amount of fans, and that's showing that football is growing, and you want that because you want to make it difficult for your opponent, and you want that all over the world. So, one, I think that's incredible, and obviously leading into the World Cup here in Australia, it's a cool thing, and that's what we want for the World Cup as well. So, I think that's kind of how I take it. I love doing that. I think all teams love to come play in Portland because of our fan base. So it's good for women's football and good for any opponent coming in, and obviously Australia in that sense too.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. We've been able to confirm that we will have about 5 or 6 fans at the game. So just
no way. Are you one of them?
6 fans. Yeah, I'll be on the press tribune. I'm one of them. Let's go to Michael Lewis. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Lindsey. Thanks for doing this. 30 years ago this week, the U.S. women celebrated Thanksgiving in China. I know last year the team celebrated it across the Atlantic. How do you celebrate Thanksgiving in Australia? I guess it's Thursday there now, right?
It is. Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm hoping that we have like a Thanksgiving dinner tonight. But funny enough, it's also Emily Sonnet's birthday, so it's like a double celebration. Got to shout out my friend there. So we'll have like Thanksgiving dinner hopefully, and then like a Emily Sonnet cake. I don't know.
I think that's exactly correct.
Thanks.
I can confirm that people have been celebrating Sonnet more than Thanksgiving so far today.
Exactly.
Let's see. Unless anyone else has any questions, this will be the last one for Lindsey, and it goes to Alex Ozzie. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Lindsey. I was wondering if you had any thoughts on Formiga's retirement. I think her last game is tomorrow.
Yeah.
After 7 Olympics and every World Cup since '95. Just curious about kind of any memories you have of her.
To be fair, I've never gotten the chance to play with her because obviously she came to PSG after me. But I mean, she is such an incredible player, and from what I've heard, a human being. And it's someone similar to like a Carly Lloyd. Everything that she's done for women's football, for Brazilian football, the type of player she is, to be able to play for that long and play in that many world tournaments. I mean, like all of the stats, show themselves, but to remain a good human being during all that time as well, with the legend that she is, I think that's just incredible in itself. So I think we're all very sad about the retirement, but obviously it's such an incredible career that we should all be celebrating and be thankful that we have those kind of players to look up to and have as role models for women's football. So congratulations to Formiga.
Well said, Lynn. Looks like Caitlin has one more. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Thanks, Aaron. It's been another week in the NWSL, I guess, of seeing a coach exit for misconduct. So it's not really a new thing, unfortunately, at this point. But I'm curious, when you're away at camp with the national team and reports like that are coming out, is it something that you guys are talking about? Are you dealing with these issues while you're at camp and engaging with them? Or is it better, on a trip like this, do you block that stuff out and kind of just focus on the task at hand?
I mean, to be fair, it's hard here in Australia to really try and do so much. I think obviously you sit here and read these kind of things and you continue to be like, why? Like, how is there so many issues like this going on in the NWSL? And to be fair, it's going on all over the world. And you kind of you sit here and you just want some positivity, and I think the positive that we can take out of it is that that these coaches are, either being released or fired or resigning themselves because they know it's about to come. And again, it's a lot to take in. Obviously, we're here trying to focus on a task, like you said. But it's hard. It's hard to see all of these things come out in our NWSL, and all of these coaches come out and kind of have to live through these stories of these players and hear it out of their voices. So one, I think the bravery from all these women coming out and speaking about it is incredible, and I'm very thankful for that. I think all of us are thankful for that because it's opening up these doors for other players to speak about it. I guess I've also had a personal experience, so it's unfortunate to hear these things. But again, while we're here in camp, obviously we are focusing on the task at hand. But yeah, I think it's really hard, waking up and seeing this article coming out again about something happening in the NWSL. So sorry for the mini rant, but yeah, it's hard.